Yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for the Geekenders podcast. MEGARan, Jesse and Dodger, what up? Let's go. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow and see what the Geekenders are all about. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt. Yo, another end of another long week. Got a job and a kid, I know that you all beat. So take a second, grab a drink and vibe while we catch you up in just a matter of time. On gaming, comics, whatever you're doing. If you're nerdy like us, then you know you should tune in. Thank you for sharing our world with us. Now follow, subscribe, and turn this up. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Geekenders. Sorry, I surprised myself.
Me too.
Hello, with your typical boring hosts, Dukes and Jessup, and an amazing, lovely guest, Suzi the Sphere Hunter. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. I'm a little sick right now. I've got a cough drop in my mouth, so you're going to hear me sounding like I have like a retainer or something. It's really unfortunate. So just deal with it for like
whatever
10
you gotta
minutes
do
or so.
to like
Hello.
feel comfy in your mouth, throat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Area.
The mouth throat region.
Yeah. Don't look at me like that, Jesse.
You've never said that to me. You never said, Jesse, I hope you're comfortable in your mouth throat region.
Are you uncomfortable
Maybe I'm not comfortable
in your
in mouth throat.
Are you uncomfortable in your mouth throat region right now?
It's 8 a.m. Of course not. This is the first words I've said to another human being, period, today.
Sounds like it. I don't know.
woke up.
It kind of sounds like you're a little mouth
That's what I'm
throaty right
saying.
now.
Yeah. Got a little,
Yeah.
got a little like thing. The first words I've said today to the both of you. So if anything, it's special. It's more special.
It is special. Every moment speaking with you, Jesse, my friend, is special.
This
back from that.
podcast is built on a throne of lies. How dare you?
Oh my god.
He. Suzi, I know you just said that again, your mouth throat region is not doing amazing, but would you like to tell everybody who you are and what you do?
Yes, I am Suzi the Sphere Hunter. Suzi Hunter. I work on YouTube videos, streams occasionally, not so much recently. I make very, very long videos about older video games, like in the PS1, PS2 generation, and a new game occasionally. Again, occasionally. I also do a lot of like voice work. I'm a writer. That's how I got my start and everything. Yeah, I like books. I like reading books and
Nice.
and scary things. Very scary video games.
Yeah,
you know?
people were saying you are an apt October guest.
I was going to say, yeah, it's perfect timing.
Mm-hmm.
It actually works out really well. Yeah.
Have you been Silent Hilling?
Yes, but not in the ways you might be thinking.
Is it? Oh, wait, hold on. So it's not Silent Hill 2? You're doing Silent Hill 3. No, 1.
Yes.
4.
1.
I might be working on a retrospective on an older Silent Hill game right now.
Nice.
Wink, wink.
Because I have a rule on my YouTube channel where I can't cover a remake before I cover an original, you know?
Gotcha. It's a solid rule. You got to have your rules. It's like Batman.
Yeah.
Like everyone has to have
Batman.
the rules they won't break. Yeah.
I am an obnoxious Batman fan. I am.
Are the older games that you cover, are they like games that you really liked like when you were younger, or?
Yes, usually. Because I had a very unique upbringing, where I grew up in a house with like a lot of kids, like in the late 90s, you know. It was sort of like a three-story building with 3 families in it, you know, and everybody
Like
had video games. In what?
Like in
Oh, in
Kanto?
Like in Kanto,
I guess, yeah,
I
sure.
thought you said like in Tonto, like Tonto
No.
as like a thing.
No,
and I was
like in Kanto, where all the families lived in the house Madrigal, and they sang and danced, and they had magic powers. Come on.
Anyway,
So
continue, Susie.
I basically, I had a really interesting upbringing where basically every video game that was coming out at the time was in that house. So I got to experience a lot of the classics while I was growing up. So like the years 1999 to 2000 were like me discovering the first 3 Resident Evils, you know, me playing FF7, 8 and 9, you know, Parasite Eve, Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hill, you know. So a lot of the games that I cover are really deeply passionate, emotionally driven retrospectives on games that I grew up with. But every once in a while I'll play a game that I would always see, you know, around that time, but missed out on. Like I recently covered Lifeline, which is a PS2 survival horror game that you control with your voice. So the whole game you speak into a microphone, and it does not work at all. It doesn't work at all.
How did that work on a PS2?
So that game specifically came bundled with like a PS2 headset. But you can use any USB microphone on it. And it doesn't work.
It's kind of amazing. I like the initiative they took for PS2 era horror game to have a microphone, but yeah, you don't even have to explain it to me. I know it probably wouldn't work well. It's a
really interesting concept, and it looks great. Like it is one of the best like best looking PS2 games, you know, like the graphical quality is like really surprisingly top notch. And I think the reason for that is because there's nothing going on in it, you know, like you just talk to the game. There's no systems, so there's nothing colliding with each other, you know, that would create bugs. It's just like you talk to the lady and then she goes and does things, but she doesn't because the recognition sucks.
Right.
But yeah, like that's an example of like a game I missed out on back in the day, but like covered now, and it's like, you know, I really wanted to like this because everyone hates it, but no, it just sucks and doesn't work. So
Oh no.
I also hate it. It's really fun.
I love like finding out that something that people are doing now and you go, wow, that's so like innovative, right? But somebody did it years ago, just when the technology wasn't good enough for anyone to like notice it really.
Yeah, one of the biggest examples of that I always point to is Resident Evil Outbreak. It was released in like 2003, and it's a classic Resident Evil game that is a online co-op game, you know, and it used the PS2's online infrastructure, but nobody had that back in the day, so it was like a colossal failure of a video game. Like nobody bought it because nobody really played the PS2 online, you know, but people have gotten it working now, like on fan servers, you know, and when you play it like with Discord and like a full party of Resident Evil characters, you're like, this is the greatest Resident Evil game ever made. Like you're doing like classic Resident Evil puzzles with
made it
3 other
early.
people, you know, way too early. Yeah, like that's a game that was way ahead of its time and should have waited for like the 360 generation or something, you know.
Right.
Do you think we could easily research, Dukes, I must know the answer to this, if there are any modern games that are using the like shout at your character to get them to do stuff horror game? Because I absolutely want to make that game. Yeah, like it's like, get out of there. Turn left.
Hide. Get under the bed. That would be
not that doorway. Like, can you imagine?
That'd
be amazing.
Amazing. And you would have an option, like in the options menu, there would be an option to give it like the like the CRTV like lines as though you're watching a movie and yelling at the movie.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Also, I was one of the few people that had PlayStation 2 online stuff to play EverQuest Online Adventures, which, by the way, me and the 6 other people playing, boy, we didn't know what we were doing.
Bro, I wanted that game to work so bad.
Damn. Did you use like a keyboard and mouse on that game?
So you weren't allowed to, but someone discovered that certain keyboards and mouses just worked with the PS2, and so you could. Also, I think they had branded PS2 keyboards and mouses.
I think they did, yeah, because I don't know if you guys remember this. Everybody's favorite Final Fantasy game, Dirge of Cerberus. You could plug a keyboard and mouse into the PS2 and use it and operate it like a first-person shooter. And it was kind of cool, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
I like that they were
obsessed.
trying.
Obsessed with that game.
Stuff. Dirge of Cerberus.
Jesse, I know you've got your Square Enix contacts. You got to tell them to bring the keyboard and mouse support back when they remaster that game.
My entire life has been trying to get them to make remasters of old things I love. They don't care what I say. Although Vagrant Story, though, we need it. We need a Vagrant Story remake. Please and thank you. Love, Jesse.
I will. You know what? Listen, I managed to annoy Capcom enough to get them to port RE1, 2, and 3 on PC. So anything's possible, okay? Like,
yeah, except you do like hour-long, in-depth, like retrospective looks at their properties in a way that makes them respect years of their work. And I am like, Dodgers downloaded terabytes of porn. So I feel like there's a difference between, by the way, I don't remember if that was part of the podcast or that was the before show. So there's zero context if you're
I was also
watching.
thinking to myself, should we give context for that? I don't think so, though. Keep talking.
No. Anyway, context free. That's my problem. Is they're like, oh, that's that goober man. And I'm like, hey, you guys should re-release Vagrant Story. And they're like,
oh my god,
block him, block that guy,
block that man.
Oh my god. They're like, that's that cyberpunk ghoul.
Yeah. Although if they want to like start making Square Enix characters where one's like, Squall, help me, my dick is on fire. Yo, I got you covered. Call me.
The Final Fantasy cyberpunk crossover that everyone is asking for.
Yeah. By everyone, you mean me right now.
Jesse.
Just me.
Jesse Cox, single person, yeah.
The only person.
I just imagined playing the third part of FF7 Remake and like doing a side quest and like going into a bar, and it's like a photorealistic scanned version of you like talking like an FF7 like puppet, you know, like how they like move like weird.
Oh, Cloud, you gotta help me. Oh god. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's like a
I
mini
used
game.
Fyraga on myself by accident.
Do not store materia near your junk, Cloud.
All it would take is two. All it would take is two versions of that before more and more companies are like, all right, how can we work Jesse with his dick on fire into our game?
Yeah. Fuck it. I'm making a game. Fuck it. I'm doing it. I'm putting you in the game. I'm putting you in my game. The Flaming Cross.
Thank you. Oh, everyone. My life goal is to be at on the convention circuit when I'm like 80 and be like, you might know me as the man with the dick on fire, or a troll that fought. Like, I want to have like, I also was a snake that looked like a wiener. Like, I just want to have a list of like really great roles. And people would be like, who are you? Like, remember that game you played where the salad was made out of boobs? That was me. I was that guy.
I was the boobs.
Yeah, that's all I want.
Listen, I can relate. Okay, I'm in like every puppet combo game, which are like essentially like 70s exploitation horror movies. So I got it. I'll be there at some point. My little booth will be right next to yours. You know.
I love that. That'd be great. It'd be like, come on over. Come on. It's the old puppet and the fart guy.
Yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, I mean, anyway, that's what I do for a living.
Intro over. Amazing. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Have either of you guys done any of the Next Fest stuff? Have you been playing any demos?
Oh yes. Oh my goodness. So I've been horror Next Festing. By the way, if you go on the Next Fest page on Steam, it's really funny because there's a lot of games on there that I'm like, oh, yo, that looks so cool. I downloaded one game called Sultan's Game.
Okay.
And literally it's the one I haven't played yet, but it's the one I would go say to look at because it looks like, I don't even know how to describe this game. It's like a card game kind of thing. I don't know what this is. I'm fascinated by it. So I want to play that. But I'm just going to put that out there for everyone to go look at. I played a little bit of Worshippers of Cthulhu, which is, imagine like a city building game, but you're building a Cthulhu cult. Mm-hmm. Good old fashioned fun. But more importantly, played the Heartworm demo, the horror game that is like PlayStation era horror. Very cool. Super interesting. Played the Karma, the Dark World. Is that what that's called? I almost want to say Thor, the Dark World. Karma might be my favorite horror demo I've played in a long time, maybe since PT. It is
interesting.
The trip. It's like highly trippy. Basically, you are a guy who works for an agency that's very Federal Bureau of Control coded. Like it is, like it's very coded, but it also takes place in sort of like a 1984-esque society where the company clearly runs everything, and everyone takes this drug to keep them working and motivated, even though society's like very messed up. So it also has like a little We Happy Few coding in there, but you play as a guy who goes into the dreams of other people, and that's sort of like what your job. You're like a dream hacker for the company, and everything that takes place in it is one of those, am I in the dream? Is this reality? What is happening? Who is this? You're traveling like into other people's bodies because you're in their dream, and so you're experiencing their dreams, trying to unlock the real story of what happened then. And so it is extremely interesting to play, but also visually stunning, and more importantly, like so weird it's unsettling, and then scary when it needs to be, when like stuff shows up and you're like, what is that? But you're in the dream with someone else, you have no control over it. So it's like a little Inception. There's a lot of things coming together for this, but it plays great and is super, super weird. And those are the kind of things I love. Yes, this is Karma.
Interesting. Yeah, that was one that got suggested to me, but I didn't play.
It's great. Heartworm is the story. I don't know what it is. I guess the idea is that someone in your life died, or maybe several people died, and I guess you're kind of working through it, but it's done in a retro Silent Hill / Resident Evil style, where you can even do full RE1 tank controls if you want. But your only weapon is a camera, and if you take enough photos of the enemies, which are like static people, they go like, and they de-res, and it's like the worst sound you've ever heard. It's like, and then they die, and you're like, what the hell? There's a giant crazy spider creature in it. I don't know what the game, like, the game is a series of, or at least the demo is a series of very RE1 style moments with a plot that I don't know what it is at the moment, but it's neat. It's very interesting.
I've been very interested in that game. I didn't realize there was a demo out for it because I've been like so busy in my personal life recently, but I just downloaded it on my other computer over here, and I'm gonna play it. Like that.
You'll love it.
Sounds amazing. I think I will. Yeah, I'm excited. Holy shit! Does it have fixed camera angles?
Yes. So there's the first time I realized I was like, ooh, I'm gonna love this. Is it does an intro tutorial where it teaches you how to use the camera, and then as you run out of the intro area, it does the fixed camera of like a top down way high up as you run across the bridge, and then you see this weird house, and then it's like the fixed camera change. It like keeps doing it's fixed camera stuff, but there is a way to kind of break it, which I don't know if this is something you want to do, but we did it because we're like F it. The camera. There's two versions where you can either use it how it's supposed to be used, which is there's a camera and you're getting the fixed angle and you take the shot like you would playing an older game. Or you can switch to over the shoulder. So when you pull the camera out, it goes behind you and you can move 360 around and take the shot. Yeah. And in that way, you can see a lot more of the level and find secrets that you may not have found just looking from like a certain angle. So I guess it's kind of cheating, but.
So it's like, have you ever seen what Resident Evil 4 was supposed to be? Resident Evil 3.5, where it's fixed camera angle, but when you aim, it goes over the shoulder. Oh my god, that sounds so cool.
Yeah, and so it just gives you a bunch of options. It's pretty neat. Speaking of options, going back to Karma, the most brilliant thing I think about that game that I love when games do this, is you wake up, you have this intro scene. I don't want to spoil any of it, but then the minute you leave the initial room, you go through a series of corridors, and the corridors are literally setting up your game's options. So the first one is like, the first room you get to is the like white balance. And so it's like, you hear a voiceover and it talks. She's like, if you do this and you change this, right? And then the next room is sound profile stuff. So you can have like Adobe around, right? And the next room, and it just keeps going. And I'm like, this is such a clever way to do initial setup for the stuff like that. I love. It's totally unimportant, never really needed, but when I see it, I'm like, oh, you guys. Yeah, love that stuff.
Yeah. I love when developers think outside of the box for stuff that isn't like completely important like that. I feel like so many games nowadays, like especially the Capcom's recent games, like when you put them in the first time, it's just like no sound, black screen, and it's like, here's the initial setup. And it's like, okay, great.
Yeah.
And then they just throw you into the game and it's like, wait, I want to look at the other options. Like, can I look at the other options, please?
Yeah. Having that available in game as you play, I think is a very cute thing. Because you can also see it in game. It's like, you do options and then the game starts and you're like, okay, this isn't exactly what I wanted. But just pause and just, so that was pretty
Isn't
fun.
that so funny how like, this is a little bit of a tangent, but like, I love how video games just like expect you to know things. Like you put them in the first time and it's like, how do you want the game to be? And it's like, I don't know, I haven't played it yet. Like, what are you talking about? Like, do you want the game to be really hard or really easy? I don't know.
Yeah, the number of times that I go into the options and I look at everything, but I don't change anything because I'm like, I don't know yet. I have no idea like how this game is going to be, calibrated initially. So
I don't know how annoying picking up every item will be for me to turn on the setting that picks them up automatically.
Right.
Dukes, did you? Yes. There's one game I haven't played, but I feel like you might have. Have you tried the Next Fest demo for Jotun Slayer?
No.
Have you seen that? It's Hordes of Hell. I'm pretty sure, at least from what I've seen, it's kind of like Vampire Survivors, but Norse, but also different in a way.
Oh, Jotun, like a J. Got it.
Yeah, Jotun Slayer. I felt like you would have played that, but I guess not. I want to try that. It looks very cool.
No, I did. I played some like kind of spoopy stuff today. I played Urban Myth Disillusion Center.
What?
Yeah. Hold on. Give me a second to type this out. So this initially like first impression to give you is that this has gorgeous animated pixel art. It's beautiful to look at. And play style wise, you're basically like a spirit detective. The game like teaches you how to play in the context of like you're a person who has never done this before, right? But in terms of like the mechanics, if you really like games like Ace Attorney, or more recently if you like the Golden Idol games, where it's like I'm collecting all of this information and then I need to figure out how it all pieces together. It's that, right? So the demo is you learning how to play, but then going to like try and figure out essentially what urban myth is plaguing a person. And so you're like so you like collect all of this information. And I think it's going to be a really, really cool game. Because I love sort of like puzzle games like that, where it's like, let's try and figure out what happened here, you know? So that combined with the aesthetics and how the game looks, that
sounds really cool. What is it called again? I want to
Urban Myth Disillusion Center. It's a great demo. I recommend it.
Okay, I'm gonna download it right now.
Yeah.
As you guys can see, I have not experienced any of these things yet, and I'm downloading them as we speak.
Yeah, do it. One that I think, Jesse, you should really bring to Scary Game Squad, but not tell them at all what it is a game called Soulmates. In this game, in this game, your friend has gone missing in a haunted house and you're like, I have to save my friend, right? So you're playing it and it feels like a spooky point and click, right? It's like a very dark, dreary, like fucked up vibe. You're walking through all of the rooms. You have to like hide from monsters, whatever. But this game is a horror dating sim. Where you are trying to connect with the monsters and ghosts and find out more about them in order to progress, because otherwise they stop you from finding your friend. It's so funny. It was legitimately spooky occasionally, and I was like, I love this. Like the tone shift is so funny in this game.
I must stress to you,
yes.
So I went to the page,
yeah,
and the images are like of this terrifying ghost, like no eyeballs, tongue hanging out, like but at the same time, I was like, damn, that ghost stacked. What's going on? What's happening here? What's up with this? And then as I clicked through,
you're not alone. My chat said the same thing.
As I clicked through, I was like, wait, why halfway through this video of this horror game does the scary monster turn into like just a half-naked anime girl,
a cute booba girl? Yeah.
And I'm like, what is happening here? And then as I saw that, you go, yeah, so you got to date him, and like it's a dating sim, and I'm like, well, of course it is. Well, yeah, of course. That explains everything. Every question I have.
I think, yeah, calling it a dating sim is just to give you an idea of the genre, but like I would say the term date is kind of loose. It's more like you need to get to know them to figure out how to help them pass on so that you can like move on. But it's a lot of like flirting with them. I
mean, look, this is our bread and butter.
I know.
We love a good ghost flirt. Big fan.
Jesse, when I tell you, I didn't tell chat that there was a dating sim element to this game. And when it did the switch up, everyone was like, what is happening? And I just really, if possible, I want you to really bury the lead with the other boys and have one of have one of them take the lead and just see how it goes.
Man, this sucks because there's a game that is kind of similar that I think would be a great like pair with this, because the other game I'm thinking of, and I don't remember the name of it. Please go to Next Fest and go to the horror category and give it a look. It is a game where it's a horror game, but it is done in the style of old PC dungeon crawlers where you like are moving forward, then you do left or you do right. And it's that screen where you're like in the box as you move through.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And it's done that way, but it's a horror game. And I was like, yo, that looks amazing. I think it'd be great to do that paired with this because they both have a similar vibe. And then this one like takes that hard left. It could be fun.
Absolutely.
No.
Interesting.
Another one, if you liked Inscription,
Love it.
a game to check out is called Is This Game Trying to Kill Me?
If you died in the game, you died in real life.
It's goofy in all the right ways. You're trapped in like a spooky dude's house and he's like, wow, you're trapped here. Why don't we play a game? Right? Saw style. But it has that element of like, there's a game on like an old computer that you're playing, but the things you do in that game affect like your actual world and trying to figure out like how to solve puzzles, like which like version of your world you need to be in to solve different puzzles and progress. I think the puzzles in this were very clever. I really, really liked it. So if you like escape room games and you liked Inscription, I think you'll like that sort of like, I'm in this game, but also out, like the outside is also a game kind of a thing, and how they sort of like intermingle.
Interesting. Is this game trying to kill me?
Is this game trying to kill me? Yeah.
It's also a great attention grabber for making a YouTube video. Like the title is a
100%.
great
Yeah.
YouTube video title as well.
Wow. Yeah, totally.
Is this game trying to kill me? Five reasons. Number 4 will shock you.
Screaming face thumbnail. Like,
Oh!
yeah, exactly.
Another one that was kind of like a surprise spooky game is called Scarlet Deer Inn. Have you guys heard of that game?
What?
No, but it sounds
Scarlet
so cool.
Deer Inn?
Scarlet Deer Inn. So this one, again, I'm going to lead off with aesthetics. All of the characters, the way that they're like colored in is with embroidery, like actual embroidery. So the way that they all move around and like interact with the world is really, really cool. And there's like fun elements. Like at one point in the demo, you're talking to little kids that are playing in the dirt. And so they're like embroidery bits when they talk are like covered with dirt. Like it's really, really cool. The like textured aspect of how the game looks. But this game is like it actually is sort of like an old pagan themed Metroidvania.
Yeah.
It's buck wild.
I'm looking at it right now and it
so
looks
bad.
It looks amazing. I'm looking at it right now.
So cool. Really,
they actually
really cool.
embroidered the characters,
Yeah.
like the sprites. That's so insane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, indie games are going to be our savior. I swear. Like,
Yeah.
like,
I'm so curious if the reason that is so. A lot of games, especially in the AAA space, are like, we're gonna wow you with the amount of money we spend and the amount of hours this game is gonna be, and so in the world of indie games, in order to get attention, you have to be as creative but on a budget. So you have to come up with like pure insanity. Like, oh yeah, let's make everything. We'll stitch it and then we'll like embroider the game.
yeah.
It feels like the God, this is such a weird thing to say. Like the good version of the same trend that happens on YouTube or in creator culture, where it's like, we got to go crazy. We got to make something clever. We got to grab everyone's attention. And like in the creator sphere, it's people who are just like, yeah, so I threw my friend off a building, right? But in the video game space, it's like a game completely out of embroidery. And we just created a Metroidvania, but it like looks super unique. Or our entire game is stop motion, like that kind of thing. And
for sure.
It definitely, when you look at this game, I immediately downloaded the demo. Like I was like, yeah, I'm in. Let's go.
Same.
And so I wonder if that's like, is there a point where it's just too much? Like an indie company can't do that stuff? Or is it a point where a AAA company has to be like, all right, what if we spend less money and then like actually create something really crazy and unique? I have no clue where that trend takes us.
You know what? Somebody said the other day that they think probably companies making AAA titles are not seeing the difference between a game that they think will sell versus a game that they would want to play, which I thought was kind of interesting. Like what buzzwords, what aspects do you think will sell a game versus what would actually be fun to play, and like what the difference is between those two things, or what that Venn diagram looks like, right?
I think, this is such a great topic to talk about. Because I think about this a lot, like especially recently, because like every video game, I feel like every AAA game right now is striving for photorealism, just to get like as much like, oh, you could see the guy's stubble on his face when he's looking in the mirror and this and that, and it's like, I feel like it's all whatever the higher ups at these companies want, and video games in the AAA space at least have always kind of been like a skin deep presentation to the rest of the world. Like it's always been like, look how beautiful the graphics are, even though like, you know, the hook of whatever game, like say like you know, like Splinter Cell is like, oh, this is like simulation level stealth or whatever, like light and shadow is like a big part of it, but like really what it is like, look how beautiful this game is, the rest of the world. Like, you know, RE4 is like this high octane like action game, but like the real hook of it was we invented the over the shoulder camera, you know, like that kind of thing. I'm a little more cynical about it right now, just because, you know, we do get games like Undertale or like, you know, like a Five Nights at Freddy's that do like fucking unbelievable gangbusters and have like fan bases that are the size of the largest countries, you know, like, and then it's like, but still, like Sony's just like, we have to see Ellie cry, and every tear is like has ray traced reflections, you know, tear, like this has to be like the most high quality thing ever. And I don't know what it is. I think what you said, Jesse, like maybe it has to be both of those things, where there has to be an indie game that does so incredibly well that is embroidered, but also like, okay, how do we top that? Like we literally can't top that with like our tiny budget. And then maybe a AAA higher up producer like sees that indie game and is like, that's amazing, everyone loves that and it's sold really well, let's try to do that. Oh, and it's way cheaper than what we've been doing, rendering every hair on James Sunderland's head, like, like, you know, why have we been doing that this whole time? Like, I think there has to be kind of like a perfect storm of circumstances that happens.
Yeah, it's a weird vibe, because I feel like at the end of the day, also a lot of the high fidelity, you can see stubble or the hair, we like spent hours crafting new, like all that stuff, I think also for a lot of companies is about showing off other proprietary things. You know what I mean? Like Sony, for example, is like, some of the things we put in our games are to show off these other things that we also like, our internal processes or weird stuff we're using that we can then sell or use for other things. Or, you know, Microsoft is doing the same thing in their own way. And it always feels like, okay, all right. I understand from a corporate level what you're trying to do, but you're also just making a video game. And I'm gonna let you know, sometimes it's unnecessary to spend $500 million on something when it's just a video game, y'all. Like, people, if it's good, people will play it, no matter if it looks like it's from the future.
I do wonder how much of it is like companies competing with each other as well.
Sure.
You know, like not necessarily, obviously a variable is, do consumers think it looks nice? But like, how much of it is again, like, you know, higher ups being like, you can see every pore on Ellie's face in that game. We got to do that too, or we got to do it better somehow, you know? And at what point are we going to hit like the uncanny valley again?
I feel like we're really close to that, honestly. Yeah.
I'm curious when it hits the same point. I mean, like, even though it's very old now, one of the big critiques, and I always thought was really funny about the Final Fantasy movie that came out year 2000, whenever it came out. The Final Fantasy movie, all the critiques were like, it is so uncanny valley to watch this. They look too real. And if you look back, you're like, that's not true. They look like mannequins.
They look terrible, yeah.
But like, it's part of the, as it gets more and more real, I wonder if I don't know what will happen, because I know that a lot of people want that realism. They want the characters to look a certain way, but there's absolutely a moment where it crosses the line from like, wow, that cowboy looks amazing, to like, I feel uneasy about this cowboy. Like, something about him, his eyes are like I don't know if having, as we, because there's a lot of eye tech, right? Where it used to be, there'd just be dead eyes, and then they gave the eyes a little more life, and then the eyes became wetter, and then you could see reflections in eyes, and then you could see like pupil quality, and it just keeps getting better and better. And I wonder if there's a point where that's going to be like the one that gets us, is the eyes are just like, those is people eyes. It's like when you see a dog that clearly has human eyes, and you're like, it's unsettling.
What is that dog thinking about? Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, it's like you can see in that dog's soul, and you're like, what's this dog? Is this dog judging me right now? Why you look like that, dog? And the dog just has people eyes. And you're like,
yeah, people eyes. I love that.
And that's what I feel like eventually something will happen with games where the eyes will be so good that it's like, it looked at me. Oh my
God. And it's
like,
you know, I looked into my soul. Reminds me of my dog that passed away and all that. Have a midlife crisis. This game sent me to therapy, guys. Thank you. The ultimate horror game. Anyway, no, yeah, I do think about that, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying about Lifeline PS2, right? Like, that game has nothing going on in it, but it looks amazing. And I guess for me, like, personally, the issue that I see with it, with like where the industry is going in the AAA space, like, it feels like maybe like a loss of focus, you know, a little bit, because like we do get those situations where like, oh, the dog has human eyes, you know, and it's like, how much of the dev time and budget was spent on that kind of stuff, you know, like modeling every single button on a character's shirt and making it like 4K texture. Like, I think I'm at this point now where like everybody's throwing this new term around for video games, like with the PS5 Pro, FF7 Rebirth, like, this is the definition of diminishing returns or whatever, blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, I feel like we're getting there. Like, I feel like people are, or not people, but like these companies are maybe focusing a little too hard on the graphical presentation. And I saw some people in the chat, like, you know, like Sony specifically is like an electronics company, right? And they do, it's like you said, Jesse, like they want to push new technologies to the forefront because they're developing it and they're proud of it and all that kind of stuff, and it can inform other people's work. But at a certain point, it's like, when are we going to get some real innovation in like the gameplay department, or just like change, like really blow my mind and impress me with like a new style of video game, a new genre of game, you know?
Sure.
Instead of just like, you know, human dog eyes or whatever.
I mean, that's like, that's what happened with me with Astrobot. Is it's not like a hyper compelling game. Yeah. Like it is straight up just Sony promotion. But the game itself, I loved so much because it just did things that I thought were unique and wasn't necessarily in a lot of games. And then I realized halfway through playing it, all the functionality has always been in the controller. Me doing the thing where I have to blow on the controller in order to get a pinwheel on the screen to move. Like, I was like, this is so much fun. I feel like a kid playing this. This is great. But the damn thing, none of that's new tech. It's always been in the controller. People just never used it. And I was like,
Yeah.
Lazy ass mother. I got mad.
Right?
I was like, it's been here the entire time.
I
They
feel
never
like
do anything with it.
Sorry, Susie.
I feel like I've had a similar revelation recently where it's like, we could have been doing this the whole time and like, using controller speakers and all of those haptics in like the most interesting ways possible. But instead we're just getting like character over the shoulder, like takes up the entire left side of the screen. Like I feel like I'm just playing, like the games look amazing and I love like when environments are like really fleshed out and detailed. I always talk about it in my videos, but like I feel like I'm like mechanically speaking in the AAA space, I'm still playing like PS3 and PS4 games, mechanically speaking.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair.
And I guess it also makes sense because like half of the games coming out are remakes and remasters too. So it's
fair.
like, yeah, true.
Yeah, when I got a Steam Deck, one of the like first things that you can have on the Steam Deck is basically a tech demo, right? That Valve made. That's set in the Portal universe. And you're like a person working at Aperture Science, and it really tries hard to show you like all of the possible things that a dev could utilize with the Steam Deck if they wanted to. And I remember thinking kind of the same thing of like, I'm not sure what it is that's like keeping us from thinking beyond like how games have pretty much always played, or like how to utilize those things without it feeling gimmicky, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But sometimes gimmicky is fun.
Gimmicky
like
can be super fun.
Yeah, doing something unique, because everyone thinks it's gimmicky, but again, that controller, for example, on the PlayStation, barely anyone is using it. Only a few launch titles for PS5 actually attempted to do some of the things. And since then, I assume because people are trying to, release it on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, a lot of games just don't have any of it because it's not necessarily a PlayStation release. And so you're just missing out on so much good stuff. And so the gimmicks aren't really gimmicks if no one's using them. It becomes unique again. And I'm like, shake my controller, rumble it, have it blast sound at me. Let me like shake it or use it to fly or something. Whatever, it's all built in. Let's do it. No. Can
I give you guys a little like anecdote? This like I had like a brain blast recently. So I played the Dead Rising remaster on PC, and it just plays exactly like Dead Rising from 2006, but like updated controls and all that. And then I tried it out on PS4, and I had all the controller settings turned on. And when you go into camera mode, the way you take pictures on the PS5 version is you press the right trigger to snap the photo, right? Like how you would on a real camera. But what blew my fucking mind was if you lightly hold the trigger before you commit to a full press, the camera actually auto-focuses like a real life camera.
Oh, wow.
And that's nowhere to be found like on the other versions of the game, right? And when that happened, when I experienced my first photo on the PS5 version, I was like, why don't we have like a new Fatal Frame video game?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you should have a Fatal Frame game, surely.
Yeah, it's like, and they did that, like I think the last Fatal Frame game that came out was on the Wii U, if you guys remember, and they used the big controller as the camera, and it's like, I don't know, like there's so much amazing innovative tech that we have right now that just nobody's using, and you could use that stuff to go back to like the gimmick era of video games where you're not just selling your game on how beautiful it is alone, but on the fun thing that it's doing. And I feel like that was such a prevalent thing in the PS2 and like original Xbox era, where it was like, yeah, like we're gonna do press release, but it's gonna be all about how this really cool game mechanic that we made works, and not exactly about like, oh, look at the dynamic lighting and the peach fuzz on Kratos's back or whatever, you know, like like it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I think the indies are really innovating in that way, and you know, like I'm genuinely interested. You know, like Jesse is like telling me about Heartworm's gameplay, and it's like, that sounds a lot like Resident Evil 3.5, which is a game I always wanted to play, you know, but never got to play. And it's like, that's an indie dev that just took an idea that was a discarded idea and made a whole game like that, you know? It's like, I don't know. Why can't we just have these things? Why can't we have cool things?
Yeah. Why can't we have nice, gimmicky, fun stuff?
Speaking of nice,
yes,
and beautiful and fun, Dodger, did you play NEVA this week?
No. What is it?
I think you would love it. It's by the team that made Grease, GRIS, not You're the One That I Want.
Yeah,
it's that team.
Oh my God.
Is it NEVA?
Yeah. And you play as basically a dog mom who, I don't want to spoil the beginning, but you have to take care of a little pup.
Okay.
And I think this game is designed to make you cry, but also you have a sword and you go around killing slime monsters and platforming and dodging these creepy slime creatures that are destroying the world. And you and your sweet doggo have to take them out. And it is a ton of fun. The game is beautiful.
Someone said it'll destroy me, so I'm tentative.
That's why I thought you would have played it.
Because I love to cry. That's so true.
Yeah. I mean, I know you. I figured you would. Everyone I know who's played, like, even so I got to play a little bit at Playdays during the summer, and I'm like, it's very good. I don't want to spoil the actual full game, but in the intro, as you're sort of learning the platforming bits, you also sometimes have to call your sweet pupper, and so your character will just be like, NEVA, and like keep like, and so the dog will like follow you around. There's one part where you're doing a platform thing, and you have a double jump, so you double jump across, and your dog goes to jump and like misses and holds onto the edge, and then it's a tutorial to teach you how to get the dog to jump, but NEVA will just fall to the ground and go, oh! And I'm like, no,
baby,
no. I jumped out. I'm like, you okay? And it's clearly the dog's fine. And he's like a little puppy, but I'm like, no, you'll never fall again as long as I'm around.
I will protect you.
Yeah, it's like, I'll do anything for you. I love you. Yeah. So that's the game. But it has a lot of very cool platformy kind of like like a cool chase where a monster's chasing you through a bunch of platforms, or like a boss battle in a giant field of reeds, that kind of stuff. Like, it's just like the beautiful moments you could imagine that you've seen in other video games, just done in sort of like a painted pastel Grease style, is very nice. Very cool. I think you will love this, Dukes. I think it is right up your alley.
Yeah, I have to play it.
Yep. Yeah. And you have to chat. You need to save all the links of when Dukes cries so I can watch.
What the heck? How long is it? Have you beaten it?
No, I'm not even. This past week was a mess for me. I played NEVA. I played Metaphor Refantasio. By the way, that game slaps. Metaphor is so good.
It's very fun.
I love it.
I started over. I'm doing a luck run.
Amazing. I bet that would be like getting early on when you get to fight a dragon. And it's like, don't fight that dragon. I was like, I'm fighting that dragon. Best choice I've ever made in a video game. The rewards are amazing. I was like, yo, this is great. For anyone who is curious, Metaphor is literally Persona minus school. It is in a fantasy world, and they've gotten rid of the school element. Instead, the premise is that you and your like team are working for a prince who is caught in a coma by a magic spell, and you have X number of days to save the prince. So it has the time thing, but also the king has been killed. There is a power vacuum, and everyone is vying for the ability to rule the kingdom. And so there's a contest that's taking place where after a certain number of days, whoever has the most support of the people becomes the king. And so you have that aspect as well. So you have all the that kind of like, we added the persona tweaks, but it's just not school stuff. And then you have the characters trying to, you know, fight the evil that I don't want to spoil because the evil's awesome. I love the villains in this game. It's very like, I don't even want to ruin it because it's so messed up. No, you shouldn't.
Yeah, it's
so messed up and amazing.
So fun.
Yeah.
A couple of people in chat are saying I literally picked up this game as my first Atlas game because you don't have to go to school in it, which is so fair.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's got the same like long, interesting dungeons with like bonkers things to fight and like really interesting world building and fun characters. Yep. And yeah, it's very fun.
And there's multiple. So like when you play, not only are you leveling your characters, but you're also leveling your archetypes, which your archetype is kind of your persona, basically. But an archetype is this cool, magical, robot-ass looking thing that there's various different versions of. And at first I thought it was just going to be like a warrior and mage and healer, but then you start getting things like merchant. Like, what the hell does merchant do? And if you use it, you throw money at people, you get discounts at shops, things like that. And I was like, what a bizarre, like, this is okay. And they keep getting more crazy and convoluted as it goes on, which is, I love that. But then not only are you leveling all of that, but then also you have a whole other system, which is you need to form bonds with people, and those bonds will affect your archetypes. You'll get better stuff, but also they allow you to do all sorts of other things. This isn't a game where, unlike Persona, where those bonds equal like, and then we bang. And this is like, no, I need them to become, or to stop the bad guy from becoming king. So I need to just get people on my side, like that kind of vibe. And then there's a whole other system, which is
it's like finding people who believe in you and like believe in your cause and forming bond. And you can like strengthen those bonds, but like that's initially what it is like, are we on the same side? Are we fighting the same battle? Kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. Then you have this whole other system, which is as you do stuff for people, you unlock traits. And so it can be anything from like, boy, I know this isn't it, but like empathy. Or, like you discover your strong will, or you, unlock brain powers, right? And so and it forms like this crown, and then each of them, tolerance is what it was. And then each of them has sort of like a peak that gives you points, and it's these virtues that you have, and that also affects the way the world treats you and kind of what you can get access to. So for a great example is one of the abilities, or one of these special virtues, you have to get it to level 2 in order to unlock the ability to have things sanctified. So when you're out in the world, you might find an item and it's like, can be sanctified at a church, and it'll make the item better. Well, the church is like, sorry, your wisdom's too low. We don't even know you around here.
Also, we're racist.
Yeah. Also, everyone in this world is racist and terrible. They treat this various societies poorly, but it's a fantasy world, so there's like cat and dog people and bunny people. The opening cutscene is like dogs on the street be like, please sir, help me, and he's like, get out of here, you mutt. It's crazy.
Wait a minute, so this game has dogs with human eyes?
It has humans with dog
humans
features,
with dog
I think.
eyes.
Okay, gotcha.
It's a fascinating game because then there's also a whole other it is a game. This I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll just say this. It's a game where when you start the game, it asks you for your name, and then 20 minutes later asks you for the character name, and it never addresses your name again. And I'm like, that's coming up 80 hours in. That's gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
It's that kind of vibe. So it's gonna get weird. It is weird. It's super messed up, and I love every minute of it.
It's gonna be like, oh, you as the player is this puppet master that's been controlling and now we have to fight fight yourself because we're killing God, and you, the player, are God. And then you have to fight against your party that you've been crafting the whole game. Oh my god, that would be so sick.
If it somehow found got a photo of you,
yeah,
your face on like a weird
it like secretly takes a picture while you're playing it, so it's like.
Sony's like, oh, you wanted us to use our technology? We took a picture of you through the controller.
Yeah, son of a bitch.
That game, the way you guys are describing it, sounds amazing. I played, my history with those types of games was I played P4 Golden, and it took me like 80 hours to finish it. And when I finished it, I was like, that's the only one of those games I'll ever need ever again.
Tired. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was mostly just because of the school stuff that kind of like annoyed me, but
I don't like the school stuff. It's never been a thing for me.
It's one of those things where I'm like, I didn't like going to school as a kid, so why would I want to relive that over and over again?
So fair.
But yeah, no, that sounds awesome. I want to check it out. Sounds like a classic Final Fantasy with the job system.
Yeah, I have not enjoyed like a JRPG style game in a very long time, and this feels like it's set in a fantasy world. It's, turn-based combat, like all of the things that I've gotten kind of exhausted with, but I'm really enjoying it in this game. So,
yeah, the good news is the demo for Metaphor is like not just the demo. It's the same thing that Squeenix did with Final Fantasy 16, where they were like, here, have the first 8 hours of this damn game, enjoy.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to, and then the demo save file will go to the main game.
Oh, good.
So if you like it, great. If not, you're like, that's trash. I don't need to buy it. It's pretty smart.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll
it also shows like
demo.
a lot of confidence in their game.
Yeah.
To be like, here, play the first 8 hours. I bet you'll like
Here
it.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to check out that demo. That sounds freaking cool.
What were you going to say, Dukes?
Can I bring up a game that I just want to recommend, but I don't want to actually talk about? Is that okay?
I mean, okay.
Sure. Have either of you played Mouthwashing yet?
It is on the list of things to play. Everyone keeps telling me I need to play it. Everyone.
I went into it blind. I recommend you go into it blind.
Done. Easy. Okay.
Yeah.
You mean I don't have to research anything? Cool. Yeah, no, all right.
I'm still thinking about this game every day since I played it. It is only like 3.5 hours long. It's a very quick play. And I would love to talk to you about it. Either of you, both of you. I would love to talk to you guys about it after you've played it. I definitely recommend it though. Has a ton of warnings. Oh my God.
Okay.
But very good game. Very good, interesting game.
I can tell it's a good game because every time we put out a video for Scary Game Squad, all the messages I get are where's Mouthwash? Play Mouthwash. I'm like, oh my God. It's either that or Silent Hill 2. And I'm like, we already played Silent Hill. Like, play the remake. I'm like, God, those games, the remake's like 16 hours long. How many of you are going to sit around for a 16-hour YouTube Let's Play? It's not happening. So
Jesse,
we'll
you
get
have
to it
to
eventually.
you have to find the clock hands for the clock before you do the clock puzzle now, okay? Don't you want to record yourself doing that?
The good news is I think in theory I know all of I know that game so much that I'm not stressed, but I feel like there'll be new things. And yeah, the next one on my list that I want to play immediately is the new Blumhouse one, Fear the Spotlight. That is,
yes, I want to play that too.
I don't know anything about it.
The demo is great. The premise is you play as a young woman who is kind of like the nerdy one, and I don't know, I'm gonna say goth girl. I don't know how to describe her, like the vampy girl at school. Gets you to come to school after hours and like break in because there's a Ouija board in the library because there's like a sort of Halloween theme thing going on. So they have a Ouija board there, and the reason they want to do this is because the vampy girl is like, hey, don't ask why, don't ask questions. Also, I'm not gonna spoil this. Don't ask questions. We're gonna go into the library and we're gonna talk to the dead, because at that school years before there was a fire and a bunch of students died. And so we're gonna talk to the dead in the school library. And of course, they break out the Ouija board and then shit goes down.
Of course.
And it's that kind of horror game. It looks absolutely amazing. It kind of has an old school retro PS1, 2 era look to it. And it is just the coolest. The game is one that I played a demo for it. Can't stress enough how well they use the graphics of that time to cast some like really cool effects on screen. But yeah, there's like a mystery there, and I don't want to get into the mystery because I'd recommend just playing it. But there's a mystery about why this girl is like, come on, let's go summon ghosts. And because your girl is just like, I just want to be liked, she's totally in. And so that's kind of what it is. And don't go summoning ghosts in school is, I guess, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Ghosts that died in a fire.
I've looked into that game a lot, and it looks really cool, and I definitely want to check it out. So
yeah. But again, it goes back to that, like, just the visual style. I love, like, again, it's Blumhouse, so it's not indie, but I love the indie quality of a lot of games, which is, hey, we're gonna like make a style and we're gonna stick with it, and stylize things in the end, I always believe are just like cooler looking than it just looks real. You know,
for sure, yeah, and that's a perfect example of, right, like, it's not an indie game per se, but it reminds you of one. They're just using an art style, you know, they're using a graphical art style to get their game across, you know, and it's like there should be more of that, you know.
For sure.
Yeah. I always have to specifically say it's like indie adjacent, or it's an indie because the internet's unforgiving. I was trying to describe the new Prince of Persia, and I was like, you know, it feels like an indie game. I love it. I'm having a great time. And people are just like, it's Ubisoft, bro. There's nothing indie about that. You suck. I'm like, you know what I meant. You know what I was saying. I wasn't. Please, they're like, oh, you Ubi sellout. I'm like, of all the you got me, guys. Of all the companies and all the games, it was Prince of Persia. That's what I got. I sold out
That's
to
the
it.
one.
You're always gonna be a shill no matter what. Like, oh, you said a good thing about a game, you're a shill. It's like, what?
Like, you know what I meant?
Okay.
I meant comparatively to everything else. It's from their indie branch, the same one that made Valiant Hearts. Like, calm down.
When
no.
when I was talking about Wukong and I said that it was a Souls-like, so many comments were like, it's not a Souls-like. It's nothing like a Souls game. And I was like, okay. They're like, the devs have specifically said that it's not a Souls-like and they don't want it called a Souls-like. I was like, all right.
You're just like, okay.
Thank you for informing me.
Stop.
I'm very happy for that. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah, but it's like a great example, going back to Fear the Spotlight, chat's absolutely correct, is like Blumhouse is the publisher, but I believe it's made by a husband-wife team that used to be game devs in another section of the industry.
Life.
And so, like, it's two people who made this game, and I would imagine that that qualifies as indie. It's just because it has a big publisher that it's like, okay, like it's like close, but it's not. But like two people made this, so I think that's, you know, cut everyone some slack, people.
Don't you love how, like, we're so, like, as people, internet people, we're so damaged by the internet that it's like there are so many, like, little, like, barriers and hurdles that we, like, set up for ourselves as like a preemptive, like,
it's like making a joke about yourself before somebody else can.
Yeah.
Like, you try to hop in there and like say all of the qualifiers ahead of time so that nobody can like come at you.
Like, oh yeah, I played this game Fear the Spotlight. It's an indie game. It's published by Blumhouse.
It looks like an indie game.
It looks like an indie game.
Like,
it's like, I love it. It's great.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, that's it. It's whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna harp on this anymore. I don't want to chat. I love you. I love you. I love.
It looks like a great game, guys.
We wouldn't
Let's go
be
check
here
it out.
without you.
Yeah, I love you. I love you.
We're
even though
damaged inside.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, no, we're the damaged ones, not you.
Is there any other games, Susie? I know you haven't had an opportunity to
yeah,
bring anything up, but
yeah, I've just been replaying a lot of old games for work stuff recently. Like, I'm trying to think of like.
It sounds like that's your bread and butter, so it makes sense.
Yeah. I replayed Splinter Cell Pandora tomorrow, and that's a great game. Still,
That's amazing.
it's a fun game.
Is there a reason that you were just like Splinter Cell? Yeah.
Yeah, I replayed all of Metal Gear Solid recently, and when I got to Phantom Pain, I was like, this kind of feels like Splinter Cell. It feels like Kojima just replayed Splinter Cell before he designed this game. And then I was like, wait, how does Splinter Cell play again? And then I played it. I replayed Pandora tomorrow and was like, oh yeah, this is Phantom Pain. Like he just took all of Splinter Cell and like it's a little more simulation, but yeah, I unfortunately have not really been diving too deeply into the newer games, but I did download like every demo of every game you guys talked about.
Yeah.
I hope you
Influencing.
enjoy them.
We're doing it.
We're doing it, Dabs.
Yeah. Are you when you deal with stuff like Metal Gear Solid and the whole franchise, are you excited about Delta? Do you want to jump back into that? Is that like a thing that you're hyped for?
Again, it was funny because I wasn't hyped for it. I wasn't excited at all when I saw like the first few trailers. But when I replayed Snake Eater on the PS2, I was I was refreshed on all of the psychotic bullshit that happens in that game. That I was like, I need to see like how they remake half of this stuff in like photorealism. Like when you kill the Fury in that game. Snake gets chased around by a screaming, gigantic, flaming skull in a cutscene, and I'm like, what is that gonna look like? You know what I mean? Like, what are they gonna do for that? So, I think I will play it when it comes out, but again, if you're listening to this, don't expect a video at release because I haven't made any Metal Gear Solid videos, and I gotta work my way up to that in video form, But yeah, I'm definitely gonna play it because I love Metal Gear, and I think it's, like I'm kind of like in this like remake fatigue boat right now with this mindset. But there is a little piece of me that is so happy that like David Hayter gets to come back in a game as Snake, and you guys know like they're recording new lines for that game because there's so much like metatextual like dialogue of like press the select button, Snake, to open your codec. It's like we don't have select button anymore, bro. Right. Actually, we have like so many different buttons for every new console now. So like the fact that I get to hear David Hayter saying new things as Snake again, like it kind of like it makes the phantom pain, if you will, the phantom pain that I had for him in that game, like it fills that hole a little bit, and I'm like, holy shit! Like so yeah, the little kid version of me that grew up with that game is gonna be excited to play it, but yeah, I'm definitely not gonna make a video about it or anything because I gotta make videos on the old ones first. It's my rule. I gotta follow my rule.
Every time people talk about Kojima and Kojima games, I always think about this review I saw for the movie. It's out now, although no one's watching it. Megalopolis.
Yeah.
The best review I saw was it's like watching the cutscenes of a Kojima game, but without any gameplay in between. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to see this movie. What does this mean? I know it's not going to be good, but I have to imagine it's insane.
I went in a rabbit hole of people doing a like before watching the movie and after watching the movie, and they all look so dead inside. Like, I can't believe I made it through that movie.
I want to watch it so it sounds truly terrible. And I'm like, God, I want to see this because for anyone who's ever played any Metal Gear game, hell, even Death Stranding, like just imagine no gameplay elements or no characters explaining anything to you, just the cutscenes. And the idea of, in my mind, I'm seeing like this movie has fire whales, and halfway through it makes you like change the controller. It's got like motorcycles, like a person who's like becomes old really quick. I'm expecting all sorts of amazing things. Like I want good stuff from the. I know it's gonna be a bad movie, but my God, that got me. I was like, this is all I need to know.
Should we do a live reaction?
I would love to do a live reaction.
Or whatever it's called.
Yes. Surely that will be out on some sort of platform soon. Because it is not making any money in theaters.
No.
Megalopolis. Yes. Like, what is the title even?
So for those who don't know, Megalopolis is I assume last.
Please.
I mean, like, I assume so. Let me really quickly. I want to verify this before I say it. So Francis Ford Coppola apparently has had this idea for a movie for a long time, and it is imagine a movie where it's about a guy played by Adam Driver who has been known to create utopian cities around the country, and now he's trying to create his greatest work ever, which I feel like is a Francis Ford Coppola kind of like insert where he's like, I've made good things before, but this will be my greatest victory ever. And so Coppola sold his wineries. That's what I wanted to look up because I wasn't sure what exactly. He sold all of his wineries, or most of his wineries, to self-fund this movie to get it made. And it, I guess, is just one of the craziest things people have ever seen.
Is so stacked too. It's
everything about this is so wild, and I guess everyone just wanted to be in a Coppola movie. And so, but the premise is everyone. Imagine modern day, let's say New York, but everyone has and appears to be from ancient, let's say Greco-Roman times. And so everyone is like, my name is Caesar, and I'm Lucius, and I'm like Persephone, like just crazy shit. But then they also have names where I think Aubrey Plaza's, hold on, I gotta look. Aubrey.
I am looking it up right now. Her name is Wow Platinum.
Yes, that's it, Wow Platinum. That's her character's name.
Why?
What? That is such a Kojima character name. Holy shit.
Yes, all of them have crazy names. Oh my God.
I love that. I might have to actually check this out.
Oh my goodness.
I need to, oh my God. Yeah, the names are, the main character is just called Actor.
Great.
This is Adam Driver is called Caesar Catalina. Giancarlo Esposito is Franklin Cicero. Natalie Manuel is Julia Cicero. Aubrey Plaza, Wow Platinum. Shia LaBeouf is Claudio Pulcher. Lawrence Fishburne is Fundi Romaine. Jason Schwartzman is Jason Zanders.
Oh, you didn't even get to change his name.
I know,
Dustin Hoffman is Nush Berman. Nush.
Nush. There's something visceral about that name. Nush.
These names are great. Vesta Sweetwater.
Ooh.
Commissioner Stanley Hart. Huey Wilkes. Aram Kazajin. These are like, these are so good. Haley Sims, her name is Sunny Hope Catalina.
Oh boy.
I love these names.
It's good.
They're
good names.
Yeah. But also for some reason the movie contains Adam Driver has the ability to stop time. That's a plot point. I don't know. Oh yeah, John Voight is Hamilton Crassus III. Oh
I need
Is
to
this
watch
like an
movie.
epic, like 3-hour-long movie or something?
I think it's really
apparently
long.
not, but everyone says it feels like it, which makes it
Oh, okay.
funnier.
Gotcha.
Like it felt like it went on all night. I'm like, yeah.
How long is Megalopolis?
Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah,
Like,
because
it
I
felt
remember when I
so
saw
long.
the poster for it, I thought it was like I thought it was going to be like a sequel to Metropolis.
Exactly, it's big same.
That ancient
Yes.
movie. But because that's like the first cyberpunk movie. So I was like, oh, is that some kind of weird spiritual sequel or something? But
It's
apparently it has
almost-
nothing to do with it.
It's
So
almost 2.5 hours long.
that's pretty long.
That's pretty
Dukes.
long.
We could watch it. We could pause. We could like play games in between.
So true.
We could go do
Because
all
I
sorts of
feel
things.
like if this movie makes as little sense as I expect, I feel like we will frequently want to pause
Yeah.
and be like, hold on, what's happening? Yeah.
Oh my god! Speaking of pausing, are we allowed to take a little break? Because I have to run to the bathroom.
We're
Is
about
that
to
okay?
end. So
Oh, okay.
if you can hold it.
God. Oh, I can hold it.
Okay, fantastic. Do we have
And is it time? Is it time for me?
yeah, it's news time. If
To
you
do
want
my
if you want
thing.
to rapid fire the news.
Oh, I would love to rapid fire news at y'all.
And then we'll wrap, yeah.
Before
hey,
I explode.
Big news in the Coxopolis.
Yes.
We got an Xbox showcase the other day, and in it, a lot of games. But look, the most important thing is Alan Wake 2's next DLC comes out next week, The Lake House. I'm so hype. That's going to be awesome. Brace all your butts. That's where I'm at mentally, spiritually, physically. It's going to be so good. Also, we got finally a first look at FBC Firebreak, which is the 3-person kind of like goofy shooter in the Remedyverse, which I'm very excited about. I imagine we'll be fighting waves and waves of terrible things, so that's super fun. And someone has to get his damn video done before that probably comes out.
Yes, you do.
I'm working on it. Then also, of course, we have next week the Romancing Saga 2 Revenge of the Seven, which is a game that if you've never heard of it, that's probably because it only came out in Japan. It was remastered and released in 2017 for the first time here in the US. But this is like the updated animeified version. And for those of you who've never played Romancing Saga, it is kind of like Final Fantasy, but harder. And to the point where the remake they're making has custom settings now where you can play the original, aka hard mode, a normal mode, or the casual mode, because it's a hard game. But the premise of this one, like other Romancing Saga games or Saga games in general, are like Final Fantasy adjacent. This one though, I think is the best one because it does something messed up, which is it's generational. So the story takes place over countless years with different leaders. So if your main character dies, they give their power to their heir that you select from like a bunch of heirs. And then you now are them and you have to go around and recruit new people to join you. And it's really easy to do that. But like each generation is still fighting the same battle against these like 7 previous heroes who are now bad guys. And so as you make choices and do things like I built a smithy in my town, then the next generation has that smithy, but with different upgrades. So like as you make your town better, you're also making it easier for your future leaders to fight, which I'm like, it's a pretty interesting concept. It works very, very well. Plus there's a lot of quality of life things they added for the remake. So that's pretty cool. Call of Duty Black Ops 6. It's a game, baby.
It is a game.
Coming out.
Ready,
And then
ready for Call of Duty fan art to hit my timeline again? Let's
ready
go.
for it. Yeah. And then Sonic X Shadow Generations.
Yes, ma'am.
Where our sweet boy Keanu Reeves is actually playing Shadow in the game. I can't believe it exists.
I'm so
it's one of the
excited.
craziest things. Coming out as well. Those are things coming down the pipeline.
The memest game that will ever meme is about to come out.
Now, I will say for people who are like clowning on Black Ops, sure, the multiplayer will be a mess. I kind of want to play the single player though, because it's going to be absolutely insane. It's like, Commander, we have to stop this company from creating lasers that shoot planes out of the sky and turn them into jello. And you're like, all right, let's go, soldier. And then you just kill everyone. It's great. I can't wait.
Look at Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
He's photoreal.
It looks just like him.
Oh my god.
Then also this week, hey, some sad news in the world of games. We found out from Bloomberg that Bandai Namco has canceled a ton of projects and are laying people off. Again, probably the result of people spending way too much money to make games.
Yep.
But whatevs. And then, of course, Riot also laid off a bunch of people this week.
Yeah.
And so another sad week in the game dev world. So that's not very cool, but it is the mess that we are currently living in. Then,
Yep.
I assume in some sort of cosmic balance, but probably not even remotely close. This is called sarcasm. This came out. Well, I don't know how anyone can look at that, but maybe I can give it to you, Dukes, in chat so everyone can see this gloriousness that exists. We this week were blessed by this right here. The Razer Pokemon Gengar headset.
Ooh.
Where you too can become Gengar. Imagine Pokemon or the cat headsets with the ears, but it's just Gengar.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
I
There you
Does
go.
not work, does it? Look,
we
there
also
it is,
got-
chat.
Yeah. We
Looks
also
sick.
got Hades 2 patch came out. Obviously, still not going to play it till launch. I'm not going to get suckered in and play it and then not play it at launch. I learned my lesson from playing every Divinity game where they're like,
Yes.
it's launching. But then we got a big PC gamer top 100 games that came out this week for PC. And just to give you the top 5, because I guess this is where we're at. For some reason, I'll do top 10 because you'll be shocked. So top 10 is Doom 1993.
Okay.
9 Stardew Valley. 8 Balatro, which seems like recency bias, but like whatever. Half-Life 2. 6
Oh my
is Witcher 3
God.
Wild Hunt. 5 Persona 5 Royale. Don't understand why that's 5, but bless.
Let's go.
Minecraft. Minecraft makes sense. It's huge.
Sure.
It was a PC thing first, so like I get it. Elden Ring is number 3. Don't know if that like it's a PC thing. Like this is like okay, whatever. But then number 2, I kind of agree with here is Disco Elysium. I think that game's
Fantastic
incredible.
game. Yeah.
And then I'm not sure if like this is recency bias or they're incredibly accurate here, but their number 1 is Baldur's Gate 3. I feel like it's a great game. I won't complain about it, but also I'm just like, that is very recent. So
True.
Yeah.
we'll see. But that was their top 100. A lot of the things that appear in that it seem like they're out of place, but also I know how 100 lists are made, and they're definitely designed to stir up some a little controversy. And then
Yes.
in the world of media, we got the trailer for the final season of What We Do in the Shadows. Very excited for that.
Yes.
Huge fan of that
Yes,
show.
Yes. Same.
And then if you've been watching, just to shout out again to The Penguin. It's great. Absolutely. Colin Farrell's killing it. So good. And then Agatha All Along hit its halfway point. So if you are interested in that show and you want to go see Witches Be Witchin', that is on Disney Plus. The service where if you sign up, you can't sue Disney. Enjoy, everyone. And that's the news.
Fantastic. Yay. In the interest of getting Suzi peeing as quickly as possible, we're
It's a
not
weird
going to
way
make
to end the show. It's
we're
a
not
weird way to end the
going
show.
to make you
In
do
order to make
homework.
Susie pee as quickly as possible.
Homework is go pee, everybody. Everybody go pee. And Suzi, tell everybody who you are, where they can find you, what you're up to.
You can find me at the Sphere Hunter, no spaces, on Twitter. The Sphere Hunter, youtube.com/the Sphere Hunter. That does have spaces. And then the Sphere Hunter on Instagram. There are underscores between each word, so it's different everywhere. Oh, and on Twitch, of course, it's just the Sphere Hunter. So that's where you can find me. Expect videos real soon. And hey, the other day, a game I did voice work in came out called Sniper Killer, which is a extremely horrifying, scary game that I probably won't even play because it looks really scary, and also I cringe when I hear my voice in video games. But yeah, and you know, there might be some other games coming out down the pipeline that you might hear my voice in. You never know.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, so go check out all that. If you follow me on social media, you'll get all the updates. So
great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank you guys for having me.
Suzi, you
on.
were such a good guest. Thank you so much.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, this was amazing.
Oh,
I loved it. I'll come back at some point.
Okay.
But first, go pee. Like, you gotta pee.
Yes,
You have to pee first, though, Suzi.
Yeah, you gotta go.
I have to go. Should I just leave? Should I just go?
You can just walk away if you want.
Okay.
If you leave right now on camera, then everyone will know that you're peeing, which is the answer people want. Like,
That's
is
true.
pee happening?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna leave the call.
Yeah,
That's
go,
what I'm.
go for it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for having me. This was amazing.
Bye, Suzi. All
James,
right.
we host a great show. We're like the best hosts.
We're the best hosts. We're so good at it.
We're so good. Just
Hold on,
like,
I have to scooch some things. There we go. Ooh, that's fancy. I like that.
we're so good. We're the best.
I think so too. We helped our guest go pee as quickly as possible.
And that's really what hosting is about.
That's
Getting
what
your
it's
guests
about.
off camera as fast as you can. Get out of here!
Get out of here!
We don't even want you here! Go pee! It's like when, you know, in those movies when, like, the little boy has to, like, you gotta go, Rex. You can't stay here. Go!
Puts dog outside. Go! Get out of
Just
here!
go!
Yeah.
You can't be here anymore.
Yeah.
Mom says I can't keep you. Go!
Go!
Get out of here!
I don't
And the
even
dog
like
just
you.
look back and he's like, go! That's us. Go pee! Get out of here! Go pee!
Please. Jesse, what are you doing this week, dude?
I am, man, definitely gonna play Fear the Spotlight. I intend to play, or at least stream, the new Alan Wake DLC. And yeah, I don't know. I got like stuff. I got you know the stuff. I'm gonna try and do more metaphor. Like, look, there's too many games, right? There's too many damn games, y'all.
There's a lot of games.
It's out of control. So that's my plan. But if you want, you can watch this show and all the Scary Game Squads we're doing lately over on youtube.com/Jesse Cox. More importantly, speaking of Romancing Saga 2, I'm making a Romancing Saga 2 for beginners guide, so you can find out more about that game. If you liked what I was saying here on the show and you want to know even more, that'll be out next week as well. So
Fantastic. I'm just doing what I normally do. I'll be playing some Final Fantasy. I'm sponsored to play Unknown 9, so that'll be fun to check out.
I'm sorry, what?
Unknown 9.
What is that?
Unknown 9.
What is Unknown 9?
Unknown 9, where it's, well, I don't know how to describe it. I haven't fully played it yet, so but the trailer looks very cool.
Well, describe the trailer.
powers.
What is that?
You have powers. You're cool. I don't know. I'm gonna find out.
Okay. I guess this is something you are gonna play. I don't know why I expect you to have answers now.
I don't have answers yet, but I would love to come to you with answers later.
Come to me with answers. Yeah.
I will come to you with answers.
You know, the best part is when I were you about to say about to come at you with answers, because the phrase come at you with or come to you with, both of those, like, come to you is like, here's some cool things. That come at you is like, this is.
They have different vibes for sure. Yes, that's absolutely true. Yeah, I'm just doing the dang thing.
I get it.
I'm just doing the dang thing. But hey, thanks so much for watching Geekenders, everybody. A perfectly normal Geekenders that has ended in a totally normal way.
Yeah, in a totally normal way that won't be a problem.
Yeah. Suzi peed. I'm gonna pee. Jesse might pee. Who knows?
Oh no, I full
Poop
on
exclusively?
shit.
Okay.
Yeah, all I do is poop. Yeah.
Okay, good.
All I do is
Jesse's gonna poop.
yeah, I'm gonna just toot.
I'm glad we established exactly what everybody's gonna do the second the show is over. Hey, have a fantastic weekend, everybody. We will see you again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for the Geekenders podcast. MEGARan, Jesse and Dodger, what up? Let's go. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow and see what the Geekenders are all about. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt. Yo, another end of another long week. Got a job and a kid, I know that you all beat. So take a second, grab a drink and vibe while we catch you up in just a matter of time. On gaming, comics, whatever you're doing. If you're nerdy like us, then you know you should tune in. Thank you for sharing our world with us. Now follow, subscribe, and turn this up. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, scream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt.